food, fix food for the family because they are busy. But not just to invite people to eat. This is not the sunnah. Okay? Yalla Ahmed, we just started. طيب, Bismillah. It is okay to weep without any acts of jahiliyyah. This is what we just said. Crying. I lost someone I love. For sure I cried. This is something I have no clue. Rasulullah cried. When he lost Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was like a toddler, and Rasulullah cried. So, is there anything haram in crying? But the problem is what? Why me? Why did this happen to me? This is not fair. This is not just. And we tear the clothes. We start tapping our cheeks. This is the haram. And we have a hadith that al-mayyit yu'adhabu bi bukai ahli. So there is a hadith that the deceased, yu'adhab here in Arabic means is tortured. But it doesn't. Women. Their job is to warm up the scene in the Janaza. So, while they were sitting, the sisters, they scream. And they give them money for this. Why is that? So they will encourage others to scream and cry. So now it is proven that the deceased is dear to the family because a lot of crying here. Ya Ikhwan, this is one of the worst jobs. And the one who does this is a very sinful woman because she invites people to do haram. This was known in the cultures from a long time. Asking Allah to die in Mecca or Medina, this is something that we should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask Allah for husnul khatimah, the reward of the parents who miss their kids. So the people who miss their kids in a young age, there will be a house for them in Jannah called the House of Al-Hamd. All of this we tackled the last time. The meaning of the barzakh. So the barzakh is a life that is in the middle between the worldly life and the afterlife. The afterlife, which I mean the hereafter life, is the life in Jannah or hellfire, wal-iyadu billah. So the life in the dunya will not exceed 100 years, for example. And then the life in the barzakh is going to be between, this life of the dunya till the hereafter. It can be 1,000 years, 2,000 years, 3,000 years. And the hereafter life will be forever. So now, the worldly life is the shortest. And the barzakh life, we call it the grave life. Life in the grave. But it's barzakh. Barzakh means something between. So this is the dunya, this is the hereafter. What is in the middle is the barzakh life. So the barzakh life can be for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years. These are the three different lives that we have. But we focus on the dunya and we forget about the other two lives. The life in the grave, which is al-barzakh life, or the life of the hereafter. Type. Continuation depends on your deeds and opening for the notes. So here, the life in the grave depends on our deeds in the dunya. And Rasulullah says that the righteous deeds will be in format of a good, handsome looking person. So this is our good deeds in the grave. So who are you? I'm your righteous deeds. Or a very awful, ugly guy. Who are you? I'm your evil deed. These are the deeds in the barzakh life. Whether there will be an opening from Al-Jannah or an opening from the hellfire will be, for the person in the grave. It will be said to him, enjoy your life till the day of judgment. And the good person wants the hour to come, the hereafter. But the bad person, he doesn't like the hour to come. And for sure the person will answer the questions that we know it from a long time. So, munkar and nakir. And this is by itself, inshallah, bi'idhnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we will have a third session to talk about the grave and about the burial. So, munkar and nakir, they are the two angels who will ask the person. And looking at them is a fitna in itself. No one is safe from this fitna except the shaheed. The shaheed is the only one who will be escaped and who will be freed from this fitna. This is munkar and nakir. This is the names These are the names of the two angels who will ask us in the grave. They will ask the three questions that we all know. Who's your Lord? Who's your deen? And who is the person who was sent to you? ما دينك؟ من ربك؟ ما دينك؟ ما اسم الرجل الذي بعث فيكم? So your Lord, your deen, your messenger. We know this from a long time. But it's not like I memorize it in this session and I will answer in the grave. No. It is something that we should act upon. So now we can answer it. But it's not like something that we memorize it only by tongue. No. It means that I believe that my Lord is Allah. I love my Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and I follow his sunnah. I follow the commandments of Allah. I'm away from the haram. I'm proud of the deen of Islam. I learn everything about my deen. If I just practically memorize it and practice these questions, now I will answer them. But it's not just something I memorize it by tongue, because the grave is the box of the deeds in which the deeds will be exposed, and I would know about all what I have done in my life and the reward or the punishment for it. Light for the distance of 70 arms. Shall I get back to my family? Sleep till you will be awake in the day of resurrection. So this is what happens to the believers in their grave. So he will be enjoying his time in the grave. It will be full of light. He want to get back to the family, but it would be said to him, sleep and enjoy your time, and he would wake up while he was enjoying his time in the grave. Sa'd ibn Mu'az, this is the one whom Rasulullah says, if someone were to be saved from the Dhamma, the squeeze of al-qabr, would be Sa'd ibn Mu'az. But everyone will go through this squeeze of the grave and the pressure of the grave. We tackled a wonderful point about the people in their grave. Do they hear or not? It's a matter of disagreement, but the conclusion that we got the last time, sometimes they hear and sometimes they do not hear. So it's from the common mistakes is to talk to the people in the grave and address them and talk to them that they are alive. You know, your son, he graduated the last week. You know, your daughter get married to such and such. You know, your son now started his job. You know, the family moved to another apartment. No, this is not right. But we are highly recommended to go and visit and say what? السلام عليكم أهل الديار من المؤمنين والمؤمنات نسأل الله لنا ولكم العافية. So we say the dua of the ziyarah to make dua for them, and they will love this. Rasulullah sallam talked to the people who died in the Battle of Badr, and they heard Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So yes, the people in the grave, sometimes they hear, but not all the time. Rasulullah says when people bury the deceased, he or she hears the sounds of their slippers. But we cannot talk to them and make a conversation. No. They cannot talk to us. But yeah, they feel that someone is visiting. Sometimes they hear our dua, and it would be like a light. This is just to conclude this. The torture of and the enjoyment of the grave, we tackled this the last time, and we said that it occurs on the body and the soul. It occurs on the body and the soul. Yes, if I open the grave, I see nothing, because this is from the unseen that came in the Quran and that came in the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we shouldn't use our mind and say, no, it doesn't make sense from me, because our mind, subhanallah, is very limited. But we said that most of the enjoyment and the torture in the grave, it's for the soul, on the soul, not on the body. Yes, some of it happens on the body, but mainly on the soul. This is what we tackled the last time, and we give the evidences. We talked also last time about the different types of souls, the highest level, the ones who are in Jannah, like Shuhada, like the Al-Mursaleen and the prophets and the messengers. Some of them are on the doors of Jannah. Some of them on a river on the door of Jannah. Some of them in the grave. Some of them on the doors of the grave. Some of them, they are left. They are visiting around. So those are the different types of souls, ruh, as it came in the book of Al-Arwah ibn al-Qayyim. Removing the shoes, yes, subhanallah, this is a matter of disagreements among the scholars. If we visit the graves, do we remove the shoes? Some of the scholars said yes, and we should not sit on the grave, and we shouldn't stay there and eat and drink and laugh. This is all from the things that didn't come in the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We should, some of the scholars, like Imam Ahmad says, that we should remove the slippers because there's some narration says that we harm them by walking with our slippers, but the majority of the scholars said that's fine, we can use the shoes, but the most important thing, not to step on the graves as it happens. Now we will add something to the, do women, can women visit the graveyards? So what came from the hadith prohibiting women to visit the grave is not that strong. So women can visit the graveyards. But if they do these acts that displeases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or use the improper clothes while they were visiting the graveyard, then we should say to them, sister, you shouldn't do this. If they keep screaming and crying, and they shouldn't do this. But in general, they are allowed to visit the grave because the hadiths came in this regard are weak. No, women can visit the graveyards, but they should follow the sunnah, wear the proper clothes, have a control over their feelings, make dua, and just go with a mahram for sure. So that's why nothing happens to them, especially if the graveyard is far. Wallahu a'lam. From the innovations that are widespread, reciting al-Fatiha and the takathur, fixed food for the deceased family, visiting the graveyards during the time of Eid. So there are some innovations that are widespread that has nothing to do with the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now we'll continue what we tackled the last time and have a different topic, inshallah, bi'idhnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what we just said. Here is what I'm going to tackle today is number 4. Reading Surah Yasin. Some people, they quote hadith from Rasulullah, اقرأوا ياسين على موتاكم. Recite Surah Yasin on the deceased ones. Some of the scholars said that this hadith is a strong hadith. Others says no, this hadith is a weak hadith. طيب. Now, can we recite or not? If we recite it after death, this is something that is from the innovations. So after death, this is an innovation. But during the time of the death, here is the matter of disagreement among the scholars. Even the people who said that this hadith is weak, some of the scholars and some of the righteous in the past used to do so. So reading Surah Yasin while the person is dying, yes, we have hadiths that some of the scholars said it's weak and others says it's strong. Some of the scholars, they acted upon that. And they used to do this in the past. So we can say it's permissible. If someone says that it's a weak hadith, we say what? Some of the scholars in the past did this. Which means that there is a type of permissibility in doing this. But after the death, nobody said this. This is from the innovation. Why? Why Surah Yasin? Can anybody tell? Why Surah Yasin? Why اقرأوا ياسين على موتاكم, not Surah Al-Fatiha, not Surah Al-Ikhlas? According to the opinion of some. Why? Sisters, why? Why sisters? Guess. Why? Yalla, Bismillah. Because Surah Yasin, some part of it is talking about Al-Jannah. So if the person is dying now, and we said that we should raise his hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so now it's going to be like something will encourage him, will give him an incentive. From what came in Surah Yasin, إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهين هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون. So some of the ayat of Surah Yasin is talking about Al-Jannah, which will give to the person at that time, because the person at that time, he cannot or she cannot get back to the dunya. Now khalas, they are getting closer to death. So they need the hope, they need amal, they need their spirit to be high. So that's why some of the scholars said that it's preferable to, and it is recommended to read Surah Yasin on the person who's dying. But again, some of the scholars said we shouldn't do this because the hadith is weak, but we say that some of the righteous people in the past did this from the knowledgeable people. For sure, those people will not do an innovation, and they are following the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. طيب. Helping the person to say the kalima. This is what we call at-talqeen. At-talqeen, in our culture, some people understand it that, okay, now someone is dying, we say La ilaha illallah. No. You just help the person to say La ilaha illallah. But at that time, the person is under pressure. The jinn and the shayateen, they want him or her to disbelieve in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So at that time, the person is under pressure. So some people, they are so harsh. Say La ilaha illallah, and they scare the person that they are dealing with an enemy. No. It should be in a soft and in a gentle way. How? There are hadiths from the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ saying that the one who ends his life with La ilaha illallah will enter Jannah. So we can remind the person with this. We say to him, how lucky is the person who ends his life with La ilaha illallah. Please, brother, please, sister, try to say La ilaha illallah. Say it 3 times and stop. And then after some time, go back and repeat it. But talqeenul mayyit is not you say it yourself as some cultures do. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. No, it's not for you. It's by encouraging the person. We said Surah Yasin because Surah Yasin is talking about, some part of it is talking about Al-Jannah. So we are giving an incentive for the person, whether through a direct way or an indirect way. We help him. We say to him, oh, how lucky you are if you say La ilaha illallah. The best person is the one who ends his life with La ilaha illallah. On the deathbed, yes, in the dunya I cannot come to Brother Ahmed. Brother Ahmed, wallahi, you are the best one in the community. You attend Salatul Fajr, you make Qiyam Layl, you give Sadaqah. Brother Ahmed, you meet Hajj, you are one of the people of Jannah. We are not recommended to say this to a person in the dunya. Rasulullah says we are cutting his necks. Now the person, if he obeys us and if he likes what we say to him, now he's like, getting proud of what he did, which is not good and which is not recommended to the believer. The believer shouldn't look at the people who praise him, and he should just put this aside and he shouldn't look at that. But when the person is dying, we can say this, as they said to Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu anhu, you were with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You did this and this. You alhamdulillah, you made Hajj to Allah Azza wa Jal. You used to attend the Salah in the masjid. You used to recite Quran. On the deathbed, we can encourage the person. We can remind him with what he did from the good deeds, because we want him to have a good incentive. But in the dunya, we shouldn't do this. But while the person is dying, now he cannot get back to life, we can encourage him and remind him with the righteous deeds that he did. You know, you made Hajj, alhamdulillah, you made Umrah to Allah Azza wa Jal, used to give sadaqah, used to, alhamdulillah, take care of the orphans. So remind him, so it will give him incentive. The Sahaba, Ridwanullahi alayhim, did this with Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu anh. So this is something that we should do. So now we understood the word talqeen. So talqeen is not to say la ilaha illallah. What talqeen means, what does it mean? To encourage the person in a soft way to say la ilaha illallah. Not to be harsh on him. And not to just be picky and keep saying it to him. No, just gently stay for some time, saying it, and then have some pause, just and then get back, but do not just be harsh on him. So God said, say it 3 times. Time. Now, closing the eyes. This is what is the dalil. Rasulullah did for Abu Salama. When the person dies, his eyes are open. So from the Sunnah, Rasulullah did this to Abu Salama, to close his eyes. Time. What else? Covering the whole body of the deceased, including the face. Why? Because now the deceased cannot, remove, or show off any flies or any insects or anything. So that's why in this case we need to cover his body. Are we allowed to open the clothes and look at the deceased? Yes. We are allowed to look at him, kiss the deceased, that's fine, no problem. Time. What else? Tying the chin up to the head. Because what happens when the person dies, so now the mouth is open. The mouth is open. So now things can get inside. So it's from the Sunnah to wrap it. As you can see this in this picture. So you wrap, this is for males and females, to wrap the body with, the face, the chin and the head, with something, so that's why the jaw is not going to be open, so nothing bad will enter inside his mouth. And also it would look so bad if we leave the mouth open. Some people, they are not affected with this, but some people, once they die, they do not, the control of the mouth is lost, so that's why the mouth will open, which looks so bad. So that's why the Sunnah is to close it. Some of the scholars, they says, if the nails are so long and the hair is so long, we can, this is for men and also for women, for the nails. And sometimes if there is extra hair, under the armpit, they says, some of the scholars says that, they can just remove this, and they allow this, especially the nails. So they says they should be removed. Others says no. Softening the joints. So now, because once the person dies, his hands and his arms and his joint becomes like frozen. So now try to rub them. This is, for the relatives of the deceased, including the arms, the fingers, the stomach, the legs, because they become so harsh. So just keep doing this. The deceased face can be uncovered to be kissed by mahram. Hurrying up with the preparation of Janaza. So the Janaza, we shouldn't wait that much, except for a strong reason. Except for a strong reason. But we should not just delay it for no reason. If someone is overseas and it takes 2-3 days to come, oh no, we need to wait till the son or the sister come. No, this is not the Sunnah of Rasulullah. But if the son is coming within a couple of hours, local flight, that's fine. But from the Sunnah is to hurry up and not to wait. Not to wait and not to take much time, because this will badly affect the dead body of the deceased. Informing the relatives and the neighbors and the friends to tell the people about the deceased. So that's why there will be a type of attending the Janaza. And attending the Janaza, inshallah, we will, inshallah, the next time we'll talk about Janaza, we'll talk about the burial. And I think we'll talk about Aza. So those are the three main points that we will tackle, inshallah, the next time, because we cannot finish everything today. So those are after death now. Now we'll move to the etiquettes of ghusl, inshallah. But I will give you like a break for 5 minutes, inshallah, and then inshallah we can, inshallah. Where is brother Akhlaq? Brother Akhlaq? طيب. And I don't know if you need any questions, we have 5 minutes, inshallah. Wa alaikum assalam. Just want to make sure that you are with us, because we are coming to ghusl, inshallah. لا, we have illustration through the videos, inshallah, bismillah. But I will tackle the steps and then inshallah watch the video. Any questions in what we said? We tackled, I know, many topics. Before we move to the, inshallah, the next step, inshallah, bismillah, you can stretch out and you can ask any questions you like. Bismillah. Bismillah. We have many points that we discussed. Bismillah. Wa alaikum assalam.
One question is when visiting the grave, sometimes the cemetery is at a very distant, like 2-3 hours away.
Yeah.
And if the family isn't able to visit, the deceased, you can make dua from wherever you are.
Yeah. Visiting the grave, here is the point. Visiting the grave, the dua is going to reach from here or from there, right? But Rasulullah said to visit the grave because in the beginning of Islam, visiting the grave was not allowed for males and females. But then Rasulullah says what? Visit the grave. Why? If I visit the grave, I know that one day I will be here. So it's going to be for the person himself. But concerning the dua that some people say, no, I will go and make dua for the person beside his grave. No, dua reaches from here and reaches from there. But visiting the grave is for us, to remind us with the hereafter, to know that this life is really short, to know that even if we stay for 90, 100 years, at the end will come and this will be our destination. So visiting the grave will remind the person with the hereafter. That's why we should visit the grave to soften our hearts. But the dua reaches from here and reaches from there. Alhamdulillah. Bismillah. Any questions? We tackled many points, but that's why before we talk about ghusl and shrouding. We need to make sure that we covered everything. Tafadhal.
So you mentioned that to not be harsh during the time of like the sick person about to pass and things of that nature. So you mentioned is the reason because he's under pressure by seeing jinn.
Yes. So that's why because one narration about Imam Ahmad or one of the righteous people, they said to him, say la ilaha illallah. And the word that he says, not yet. Then he was awake. And then they asked him, why did you say not yet? He says, because there was jinn who were trying to seduce him, to make him die as kafir. And they were telling one another that he escaped from us, he would die as a believer. And he was talking to them and saying, not yet. But that's why it's not like, you are making a favor for the deceased that you repeat it a lot. And you are harsh on him, because some people, they make it like a battle. Say la ilallah, say la ilallah, la ilallah. Yeah, well, just come down. And subhanallah, one of the things and one of the questions that we sometimes, I know unintentionally do, when someone dies, the question from the people, did he say la ilaha illallah? Did he say the kalima? Ya akhi, we shouldn't. Because, and also we cannot control, and we cannot say, Ya Ahmed, did you pray? You didn't pray, okay. So we cannot guarantee that the person who says La ilaha illallah will enter Jannah, and the person who didn't say La ilaha illallah will enter hellfire. No. We cannot control. But we say it's from the good end. It's good news that the person said La ilaha illallah. But we cannot say, oh, he says La ilaha, he will enter Jannah. He didn't say La ilaha, he will enter hellfire. No, ya ikhwan. We cannot judge. But we can say, oh, it's good, alhamdulillah. But we shouldn't ask, oh, the person, did your deceased say La ilaha illallah? No, this is a bad question. We shouldn't ask this. Yes.
In some cultures, when the person dies, the one family member or friend will like declare, does anybody
Yes, this is really good. Yeah. This is, we will talk about this before Salatul Janaza. This is, it happens normally before the burial. Before Salatul Janaza. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, it happened, and this inshallah we'll tackle it the next time. Rasulullah sallam was praying Salatul Janaza on someone, was about to start Salatul Janaza. And then he asked, and they told him he had a debt. He borrowed some money, little money. So Rasulullah sallam retreated. Then one of the Sahaba says, Ya Rasulullah, I will pay off the loan. Rasulullah sallam here prays Salatul Janazah. And then the next day, Rasulullah asked the man, did you pay off? He says, not yet, Ya Rasulullah. The third day, Rasulullah sallam asked him, did you pay off? He says, yes. So that's why, yes, especially the blood relatives, they should announce this, that if our father is in debt. And here's the wasiyah. This is subhanAllah, the beauty of the wasiyah. The wasiyah records everything. So that's why the people look at the wasiyah, know the debts, now they know the investments of the father, know what did he do concerning distributing his money. What did he mention about distributing his money? So that's why al-wasiyah is really important, because it will tackle all these money rights. That's why it is very important to have it and people act upon it after the death. Not just to say to people, okay, our father passed away. Anybody my father owes money to him should tell us. No, instead of doing this, we should have the wasiyah, and the wasiyah now would tell us about everything. Any questions, sisters? Bismillah. Any questions? We'll continue. So now, the etiquette of the ghusl. We will, inshallah, mention this now, and we will have a video that is tackling what happens. I have 2 videos or 3 videos, because one of them is for washing the sisters. Okay, so that's why I want to tackle the sisters, because the sisters ghusl and the shrouding has a little bit of difference, but we want to, inshallah, mention the steps and then watch the video. Ruling concerning ghusl. Ghusl, burying the deceased. Salatul Janaza, they are called fardu kifaya, collective fard. So what is the difference between fardul kifaya and the fard like Salatul Dhuhr, for example? Fardul kifaya, if some people do this, then khalas, it doesn't become mandatory upon the rest. So if some people pray Salatul Janaza, the rest will not be responsible. Exactly like when someone now enters and says Salamu Alaikum. If Brother Ishaq answers and says Wa Alaikum Assalam, khalas. So now it's not mandatory, it doesn't become mandatory upon all of us to answer. But if no one of us answers the salam, we are all sinful. So if we do not wash the deceased in the community, then we are sinful. But if some people do this, khalas, it's not mandatory upon the rest. Salatul Janaza in Mikini. If alhamdulillah some people attend Salatul Janaza, khalas, it's not mandatory. The sisters can pray Salatul Janaza for sure, yes, there's no problem. So washing the deceased. From these things that people quote that women during their excuse, they cannot wash the deceased. No dalil on this. So women during their excuse, they can wash the deceased and no problem. But it's very common in the cultures. Oh, the sister having her monthly excuse, so she cannot wash the deceased. But what is allowed And this was done by the wife of Abu Bakr radiallahu anh for the husband to wash the dead body of his wife, and for the wife to wash the dead body of her husband. Who did this? Asma bint Umays washed the dead body of Abu Bakr. And Ali radiallahu anh, he washed the dead body of the daughter of Rasulullah, Fatima radiallahu anh. So the husband can wash the dead body of his wife, and the wife can wash the dead body of her husband. But men wash the dead body of the men, women they know wash the dead body. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his daughter Zainab, Ruqayya, passed away. Rasulullah didn't wash the dead body of his daughter. It's not allowed. Women for women and men for women. This is allowed. For the kids who die, and they are less than 7 years, so they can touch their awrah now. Above 7 years, the scholar says no. Now, their awrah shouldn't be touched. But less than 7 years, they can wash them, and there is no problem for their awrah, and sisters can do this, and brothers, and no problem. But above this, no. There is like a restriction. Who should perform the ghusl? Number one, the listed one in the well. So I have a well, and I says, Brother Ahmed is the one who washes my body. He takes priority over my sons, over my father. So the one whom I listed in my will to wash my body is the one who takes priority. Type. Then who comes next? The close relatives. The father, the son, the brothers, the uncles. So the blood relatives are the ones. If not, then the people who have some knowledge and some experience in this field. So this is, concerning those who wash the deceased body. Awrah should be covered. For those who are above 7 years, under 7 years, no problem. The husband can wash the deceased body. Ruling concerning taking a shower after washing the deceased. Yes. Some people quote hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Man ghassala mayyitan falyaghtasil." وكما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. So some people they quote hadith and says, the one who washes a deceased, he should take a shower. This hadith is weak. No, just wash the body of the deceased and don't do anything. But this hadith, many of the scholars said it's a weak hadith. It's very common and very famous. Okay, so this hadith is not a strong hadith to consider it. So now when I wash the deceased, for sure if I got wet, if a lot of smell, covered my body, this is a different story. But if I wash the deceased and I'm okay, there is no problem and there is no need to wash the deceased, to take a shower. Also from what came in the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the steps to wash the deceased is to remove all the clothes and covering the awrah, except for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because there was hadith, and what happened that they don't know, because when the Prophet ﷺ died, they didn't know how to deal with this. So they heard a voice saying that wash Rasulullah ﷺ in his clothes. So Rasulullah ﷺ washed in his clothes, but the sunnah is to remove the clothes without showing the awrah for males and females. So this is the way that it works. Intention and basmala. We make intention and basmala on behalf of the deceased, because it's ibadah. It is like I'm taking shower. That's why it should start with the intention and basmala, saying bismillah. Arhamukumullah. Initial cleaning by gently rubbing on the stomach in every wash. We will talk about this. So now they will make like a massage for the stomach to remove all the stools and urines from the top all the way to the bottom. Just doing this for every ghusl, because the ghusl will be 3 times. Like when we wash the wudu, we wash the face how many times? 3 times. So with every time they make the ghusl, they just rub the body. If the person, if the sister is pregnant, they shouldn't rub it because they may drop the baby who is inside her. So they shouldn't do it. If the person has like some problems, they shouldn't like as open, a lot of surgeries and a lot of, no, they shouldn't, they should be gentle. Some people, they help the deceased to sit up, yes, and gently do it. Because here is the point. What hurts the living person hurts also the deceased. So we shouldn't use very hot water. We shouldn't be harsh. No, we should be gentle in everywhere, in every way, and in every act we do it. So now rubbing the body to get rid of the stool, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, or just helping the person to sit up, and we repeat this with every time we make the ghusl. Normal wudu without inserting water to the mouth or the nose. So we start by, after cleaning, to make wudu. Normal wudu. But for sure, we cannot put water inside the mouth or the nose. So just by just some cotton or something, we just make it with the nose and the mouth. But we shouldn't put and insert water inside. Even when we wash the body, you should cover the face and make sure that the water will not go to the nose or to the mouth. That's why it needs some of the experience. Washing the head, including the beard, with sidr. We start. So we have two things are required here. Something called sidr and something called kafur. So these things, the scholars mentioned, Rasul Sallam advised women when they were washing the dead body of Zainab to use the sidr and to use the kafur. Why? This is because they have a strong smell. That's why when the body is in the grave, it will kick out all the insects and these things that may harm the body. So in the first one, they use the kafur. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the first one, they use the sidr. In the last one, they use the kafur for sure with water. The first wash is mandatory. This happens in the wudu. In the wudu, if I wash my face, if I make it well, if water covers everything on my face, so khalas. I don't have to make the second and the third one. But the sunnah is to make it 3. But the most important thing is to make it once. So one wash is sufficient, but always it's better to make it 3 times. And if the person still have some stools coming out and some urine, they make it up to 7. They make it 3, 5, 7. And we'll talk about this now. The first wash is mandatory. It can be 3 up to 7. The excretion of the stool or urine after ghusl and before shrouding. So if the stool came out after shrouding, khalas, nothing. We should do nothing. Yeah, because some people, it happens to them. The stool still comes out and the urine. So if we wash 3, once, twice, 3, up to 7, and we shrouded the person, and then something comes out, with the agreement of the scholars, we cannot uncover the rab and wash him again. But the disagreement of the scholar, if this happens, before we shroud, wash them 3 times, 5 times, 7 times, and now still something still coming out. Some of the scholars said we do nothing, we just shroud him and that's it. Others said no, we have to clean him. But the strongest opinion is the opinion in the middle, which says just remove what comes out. Exactly if the person is making wudu and he has an excuse and things are and urine coming out without excuse. The sister during istihada, there is a bleeding all the time. If we tell them, sisters, you have to make wudu without any, you cannot just, pray like this. No, it's zulm for the sisters. It's unfair because this is something out of the control. So this is exactly what happens here. After 7 times, don't know what shall we do. Just the middle opinion is to clean the area. And there is a technique to make sure that the person is clean because we cannot use the right hand. As again, we said we cover the body. And then they use a sponge, and the person with the gloves, he put this sponge, and once it gets back to clean, so now he cleaned the person and clean the private areas. And again, before they start the wash, every time the 3 washes, they clean and they try to rub and make sure that all the excretion and the urine comes out. We will see this because this is something that should be seen practically, so you will inshallah, bismillah, understand it very well. Covering what is seen during ghusl. If something bad happens, we saw bad things, black skin, frown face. If we see something really bad smell, some people smell very bad. If we see things like this, we shouldn't tell. The mughassil, the one who washes, shouldn't tell. Wallahi, I saw this and this. The sister, when we washed her body, I saw something very bad. Oh, this brother, when we washed his body, wallahi, his face that was white was so. No, we shouldn't say this. But some of the scholars excluded the people of bid'ah. Someone, wal-iyadu billah, was making bid'ah, doing evil deeds. And when they washed their bodies, they saw something bad. Here, they can inform. So people will be away from this. People will not do like those people who used to do the haram things. So this is what some of the scholars exclude. But in general, what we see from the deceased during washing, we shouldn't talk about it. And we shouldn't mention it to anyone. But if it's something good, some people, they smell very good. Some people, even if they have a dark skin, their faces are bright. So sometimes, we tackle this and we talk about this. Ghusl of the burned people, or likewise. Some people, like, wallahi, I received one time a question, someone in Alabama, someone shot him. So it was like a hole in his brain. So now we cannot use the water for the face. You can just make tayammum. You can just wipe. You can wipe, actually. Tayammum, this is for the whole burned people. Or during Corona time, people don't know, you cannot wash them. Otherwise, it will be contagious, according to some people. So in this case, you can make tayammum. Like when I cannot use the water, what shall I do? Someone dies and no men are there to for example, no men are there to wash his body. So now the sisters can wrap their hands and they can make tayammum. So this is for the person who's burned, whom we cannot touch his body, we can make tayammum. So tayammum here can serve, and it's sufficient here because we cannot touch his body. This is like a special cases the people of experience deal with that. I think now we'll watch the videos. Brother Kashif, help me to just to copy this and paste it on the. Yes. I think I need. No, I think because I have to get out of the. And I need the first one. Yeah, but this one we can just, if we put it on the bar, I think it's gonna. If we put it on the bar, it's gonna work. I think. I should sign in. Is that not or the internet is on? think I'm on. Yes. Yeah, use it one, it doesn't matter. Just want to make sure that we have permanent. We have 3 videos to watch. One of them is for washing and shrouding the. Yes.
Can't put his head through when
Yes.
he puts the head through, yeah.
Yes.
So once the body is washed off the table is brought next to it, and we lift the body. He was in a body bag.
So let us tackle the shrouding, because I think also these videos are tackling also the shrouding. So we want to tackle the steps of the shrouding. Okay, and then we go back to the video. So we'll take the shrouding. So before the shrouding, now the body was washed, so we dry it. And for sure, there is a cloth that covers the aura. And by the way, the aura of the female, for the female, the same aura for males from for males in front of them, which is from the navel to the knees. So the aura now for males from the navel to the knees. And the aura for women, because women will wash the women from also navel to the knees. Okay? So we dry the body and we remove the clothes now. Keeping the clothes that covers the aura. We remove it after we use the clothes that covers. We cannot just remove it immediately. But we cannot, because it's gonna make the shroud wet. So we cannot just keep it. So we dry the body and just we move him to the shroud, and gently we remove it after we cover the person with the shroud. Putting perfume on the parts of the sujood. So after we dry the body, we put in the place of the sujood. Some of the scholars, they allow to put perfume on the whole body. But the forehead, the hands, the knees, the legs, these places of the sujood, the scholar said we should perfume them. Other scholars says no, we can put perfume on the body. One shot for man and for woman is sufficient. But for sure, the best, as we said in washing. Washing the dead body once is good, is okay, is sufficient. But the ideal is to make it 3. The same for the shrouding. But for women, it should be, we should add something to cover the hair and khimar. So something to cover the hair and qamis to cover the body, and then 3 shrouds. So for women, the total will be 5. And for male, it will be 3. So for male, 3. But for women, we'll add a shirt to cover her body first before the long shroud, and then something for the khimar. And the hair of women should be braided, as Rasulullah ﷺ advised, and should be thrown to the back, not the front. This is the difference between, and perfume should be done for women as well. Leaving the face uncovered, because at that time some people wanna see the deceased. So now we keep the face uncovered, and then after everybody sees, now in this case we will cover the face. The face shouldn't be exposed, and we wrap 3 wraps. One from the above the head, and one in the middle, and one in the legs. And once the person goes to the grave, they unwrap this. And they shouldn't make it, the knots make it very hard. No, make it like easy, so it will be, untied in the grave. This is, what we have. So now we'll go to the video, inshallah, bismillah. We have 3 videos to watch: tackling ghusl and tackling shrouding. This one, because it added some in the shrouding. It added some extra shrouding, so I'm not gonna use it for shrouding, but I'm gonna use it. It's wonderful for ghusl. It's wonderful for ghusl, but we are not using it for shrouding.
A very big body bag. And we have babies, like today the baby I did was that big, he was also in a small body bag. So they'll make a body bag to fit you, don't worry. They'll put you in a bag. Because subhanAllah, to the believer, death is a pride. To the non-believer, death is a calamity. Allahu Akbar. So they put you in a bag and they put you away.
And I have an emotional video that really touched the hearts. For a person who was emotionally attached to the ghusl, it was done for him while he was alive. But this man, I love his videos.
All the rubbish and dumping the stuff. That's where they normally parlor. Me personally, I don't like putting them in the cool room. Someone. And brothers and sisters, wallah, the coroner is one place you. Where like the man that died in the car accident, they open you up from your head like this, down to here, and the camera will run on a track. That's important. Or you have people around you, or that you think you have status. It's all talking there, and so forth. There's many hadiths about it. But it doesn't happen these days. You know why? Because the Prophet ﷺ said, use the sudar in your wash of the deceased. And sudar is the lotus tree, lotus bark that has been crushed, which makes soap, it makes foam. And he said, use the foam to wash. So what we do is, once we start washing the rose, is the first thing that happens is whatever clothes you had on. Now we're talking about the one who died at home, for example, in his pajamas, all of it gets cut off. Never ever do we expose the awrah. Doesn't matter who's washing, this towel never gets moved from the knee to the navel, but always protect the chastity.
Do you hear well, sisters, brothers?
If there's any hoses on you, catheters, colostrum bags, whatever it is, all gets taken off. Even your fake teeth get taken off. And then the wash will begin. And when we say the wash begins, the wash begins. And the first thing we do with the wash is we make intention, just like we make intention for everything we do. The difference is the deceased can't make the intention, so I make the intention on his behalf that we are going to perform ghusl on him. And the first thing we do, subhanAllah, is we always stand on the right side, and we get the hose, and we wet the body from head to toe, and then we clean the private part. And how do you clean the private part? And this goes back, my brothers and sisters, very, very important, about the hadith of the Prophet, about 1/3 of your stomach is food. Because when you die and you've eaten a big meal, it's not pretty, because it all comes out. Because what we have to do is we get the soap, so the soap we use is always, you use unscented soaps. You don't use soap with a scent when you wash the deceased. Just like when you do Hajj and Ihram, you do not use anything with a smell. You soak the stomach like this, if it's a big guy, and you massage the stomach like that. The legs get open.
So this to get everything out.
You use your elbows a bit, and everything will start coming out into the sink. Because you need to give him a state of purity as much as possible. And if they're not very big, you can actually lift the body up.
This, as we mentioned, lift the body up, like sit up.
Clean that properly, we know nothing else comes in. And all the washing is done from under the towel like this. And we always check if there's anything. We keep going until it comes out.
But for sure there should be gloves.
We use gloves. And we wear an apron and obviously all this kind of stuff. And it happens a lot where it keeps coming out, people who've died of cancer and stuff like that, they're on a lot of medication. You need to turn the body sideways like this, and we get the cotton, and we close the back up.
Okay, so now this is just,
It is very, very important to perform the right thing.
this is an exception. Also, the scholar said if you wash a couple of times and still after the last wash, you put a cotton or something. Not for the normal person, but for the people who have an excuse and is still coming out. So now you can put something to cover this, source that from which the excretion coming out, just to them. But this is not for the normal people, because in some culture they do it for everyone. No, it's just for the people who have some specific issues that even after every time. So after the seventh wash, we just put this cotton just to make sure that nothing will happen.
Because you do not want to go to the cemetery a few hours later and you're shrouded in white and you lift the body up and put in the grave and you stand and you can see all brown.
طيب, this man followed which opinion? Because we said three opinions, right? One opinion that we should keep washing and washing. Other opinion says, خلاص, it's done, it's over. But the other opinion says what? We just remove. This is the strongest opinion. It's gonna be very hard. You cannot do this forever. It's gonna take time and time. But the last one, you do it. This is the best thing, and put a cotton, because this is something out of the control. If you do it up to 7 times, put a cotton, and that's it. Something comes out, just remove it and put a cotton or something, because you cannot stop it. But the brother here is saying, oh, even if it happens, do it again and again. It's gonna be endless, because it's not gonna stop. Yeah, but the massage. This is what is good. Yeah, this is gonna, you need to clean it. You have to clean this. Like the person using the bathroom. So you have, yes, in purpose. Yeah, that's why they are doing it. And they are massaging it, except, as we said, the pregnant woman. They shouldn't do this. And they know if the person is easy to move, not a heavy guy, they can sit him up. This helps. If the person sit up, this can help the stool to go out. No. If the baby is alive, they have to take the baby alive. But if the baby is dead, this is what happens. They shouldn't remove the baby. خلاص. The baby inside. خلاص. But they cannot bury the baby alive and take his soul. No.
About doing things with ihsan, perfection. Do it from your heart. Don't do shortcuts. The brother said the first wash is done with the sunnah.
Yes, sidr is what we add in the first wash. This is in the first wash. And the last one, kafur. And again, what is the purpose of this? What's the purpose, sisters? What's the purpose? Because they remove all the insects in the grave.
So we use the kafur for the last wash.
Yes, the last wash, kafur. The first one is sidr. And they are available.
Allah Akbar, we see this all the time. Is the feet are pointing like this. See how they're up? They like this. Because the soul starts from here. It starts from here and it goes up. And as it moves up, the deceased will say, I'm getting numb, I'm getting cold, and you won't feel his legs, you won't feel his thighs, you won't feel his waist, until he gets to the here, to this area here, to the throat. Allahu Akbar. And the people say, Waqila Mabarak, where's the doctor? Where's the Rashi? Where's the person to help him? And the deceased will know, he will know this is the departing. The deceased knows it, Allah knows it. He knows he's leaving the earth. We hear it all the time, the words they say. Subhanallah. The feet are put over each other, and we don't put the feet over each other when we wash. But it means you cannot do good deeds anymore. You cannot go to Umrah. You cannot go praying the masjid. You see all the time the eyes follow the soul. Exactly the same way you do it when you're alive. The hand, you
Yes.
wipe the mouth, wipe the nose, wash the face.
Yeah, this is the wudu.
And then you go down to the feet. So
This
another
is-
important point here, my brother and sisters. It's very sad when we get at the feet and his nails are that long. That far, nails. It's sad not for the deceased, it's sad for the family that has to sit and watch him cut them. Why didn't you do it when they were alive? Why didn't you service your parents when they are old and they can't move anymore?
This is for the nails,
They can't
yes.
look after themselves anymore. They can't groom themselves. This is the ihsan of a child, what he does. He grooms his parents. That you may have to bath your dad for a year or two. You may have to take him to the toilet. You need to be prepared for this. It happens a lot. So you need to groom them. And if we do cut the nails, we put him in a shroud next to him. Because anything that comes out of the deceased needs to be buried with the deceased, including body parts and limbs. And that happens a lot. Even if your leg was amputated, they'll bring the leg to us and we'll bury it in a grave. You know, this throw thing. So we know at 16 weeks it has a soul.
So the wash is not clear here. Let us go to the second video.
The towel. And same thing, you never take this towel off. What we do is we put another dry.
There is another video showing, it's more emotional. And this one tackles exactly, what happened in the wash, which is the main part. And then, double click. No. Yes. This one is so emotional because it's like a person whom they know is acting like he's a deceased. And I like this guy. Okay.
You're right. It's meant to be cool. As it took place, I took to myself I wouldn't speak the entire time. I would try my best to immerse myself into the process. It was going to take some work, but I had to do it. So I stayed quiet, absorbed myself into the moment, and internalized everything that took place.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm sorry for that. So we should test the water again.
I have seen people using, they prepare the water.
Yeah?
And when they prepare the water, they use special kind of leaves. They put it in.
Mahuwa, this is the sidr. This is the first one we said was sidr. This is the sidr is like leaves you added. Yeah, this is, and sometimes then, yeah, this is sidr, called sidr. You know the berry. This is the leaves of the type of they call it what?
We call it, in Pakistan, we call it bear.
Bear. Yeah, it's nabakh. Yeah. Now this is the first one used, but the last one kafur. They used the last one kafur. They used it. So the first one is with this, and the last one with kafur. And I says why? Because they have a very strong smell. That's why when the body is put in the grave, now it will remove all the insects away. This is the purpose. And this is what Rasulullah advised the ones who washed the deceased body of his daughter Zainab. So, sidr, this is for the first one. And the last one, kafur. I just wrote this in the steps. Okay? So this is for the first wash. Yeah, they put it in the water, but sometimes they used it ready, like kafur. They can use it as like pieces, as we saw in the old video, the video before this. So they can use it as like pieces, and they can use it as drops. So they have it now available. Even a sid, they can use it. But the original one of a sid is leaves. Now, sometimes they grind it. So it's ready. So they can use it. So all is okay.
This is subhanAllah.
Very emotional.
They'll be shrouding right here. This is the whole clothing. The salat has been added. I felt disturbed. The water temperature is warm. I felt out of place. We make intention by saying the brother's name. And our brother here, Kamal, we're going to say, I felt uncomfortable. As though someone was invading my personal space. Always the right side to them. I wanted to escape, but I couldn't. There were times I wanted to move, to tell him to stop, to not cover my mouth, to not leave the soap in my eye. But I let it be. After all, the dead cannot speak.
For in that moment, I was just a body to be washed, shrouded, buried, and every human being will be taken through. And it was a thought I couldn't get out of my head.
So now, in washing the body, it's exactly like the ghusl. How do we start with the ghusl? Normally and ideally with wudu, and then the forehead, and then the right side, and then the left side. This is what happens. And istinja before, which the previous video showed us. But the way that we wash the body, whether males or females, is starting with wudu first. And again, we cannot put water inside the mouth or the nose. It should be like something wet. And then the head, and then the nose. So the first one is with what? Which material we add? Sidr. And the last one? Kafur. And the kafur is stronger. That's why they put it at the last one. Okay. But this one is more, professional, emotional, I'm sorry.
I felt as though I was performing a video that would help inspire or awaken others.
So this is it, my brothers. This is the ending.
I felt I would be desensitized by the cameras and not be able to immerse myself in the event. But after all was done, I realized how incredibly naive I was. It hit me. And it hit me hard. Oh, I don't know what to say.
There's not much you can say.
The whole time sitting there, just like,
Allahu Akbar. You make this one good. I knew you were going to wake up after it.
the whole time I'm just thinking, oh, goodbye.
Yes, yeah. I think Australia or mashallah, yeah, he has emotion. Yes. So this is just inshallah for today. We'll just delay the shrouding one inshallah for the next time, just to answer your question inshallah. Bismillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bismillah inshallah. Do we have any questions inshallah? We'll stop here inshallah. Bismillah. Bismillah. Tafadhal. Okay, so for the shaheed, do they have ghusl? Yes, there is ghusl for the shaheed. But some of the scholars says no ghusl and no janazah. Some of the scholars says no ghusl for the shaheed, except for Hanzala, because the angels, they washed his body because they know he had janaba. So some of the scholars said yes, there is no ghusl for the shaheed, but others says there is some ghusl for the shaheed that happens. Yes, that's why the people who says he's not washed because of this. Yes, in the same clothes. And some narration says that also there is no Salatul Janaza on him. But some of the scholars said that Rasulullah sallam, at the end of his life, he made Salatul Janaza on them. But on the spot, he didn't pray Salatul Janaza. So it's a matter of disagreement among the scholars concerning Salatul Janaza and concerning also the ghusl, that he shouldn't be washed and he should be buried in his clothes. Yes. This is, Wallahu alam, the stronger opinion, that he shouldn't be washed. And Salatul Janaza, I think it's a matter of disagreement, but I think concerning washing the body, only it happened during the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallam, when the person had janaba, and he didn't wash his body, and then he went to jihad and he died. So now the angels were washing his body. So this is what happened. But for praying Salatul Janaza, some said the Rasul did it on the spot, but he did it later. So we can pray Salatul Janaza. Bismillah. This is it. Yes. Wa alaikum salam.
So what about the people, let's say, for instance, if they're dying in like a plane crash and there's no body release?
Yeah, Mawa, this is something, whatever is left, we can do wash for the body. But, and if the body is totally defaced, just make tayammum. As I said, some people, they have like, their bodies, their bodies burned. So you cannot, it's very hard. During Corona time. So just make tayammum with a wrap, and just tayammum is what? 2 hits for the face and the hands. As simple as that. So this.
What is his nose or made of the
خلاص no, there is called Salatul Ghaib. The Salatul Ghaib. The one whom we do not have body. Like when someone dies overseas and we make Salatul Ghaib on him. So Salatul Ghaib can be, especially in a case like this. Khalas, he's scattered, he's not here. He's in the depth of the sea. Khalas, we just pray on him. Khalas, and this is called Salatul Ghaib because he's not here. And that's why it's called the Barzakh life. Because some people, they call it the grave life. Because mostly what happened to people, they die and they are buried in the grave. But some people, they die and we don't see their bodies. So that's why we use the term, barzakh life, which is the life between the worldly life and the hereafter. Yes.
I also heard that the blood in the body, when sometimes it gets removed, they drain the blood.
This is, I think, something modern, they do it now. But the sunnah is to keep it as it is. Yeah, and just to clean the bodies. And actually, before washing the deceased, they should remove anything bad, like the blood or anything. And if the blood is coming out from the private area, it's najis. So we deal with it like the stool. Or if it is in one of the parts of the body and hole in the body, they should cover it. And they do their best. But and that's why when we bury some of the deceased, still there is a blood coming out. Halas, because this is something you do not have a control over it. So yes, we follow the plan of the scars, we wash it up to 7, and then any area, any hole that comes out from it, we just stick it, we make sure that we close it. If something comes out after this, halas, we did our best. Bismillah. Any more questions? It's the leaves, but sometimes the doctor, they make it like powder. So it's the leaves.
They were showing you the video was a yellow color.
It has different. Because sometimes it's a green. If it's a fresh, it's a green. Yeah, doctor. If it's a fresh, it's a green. But I think what we have seen is the kafur. And kafur used as like some stones. Yeah, and sometimes it uses as drops. But the seed, the real one is green because leaves. But these greens can dry, and sometimes they grind it. Yeah, so that's why it has different colors. But originally, if we have a fresh tree, then it's gonna be like fresh green, and we put it in our countries. But I think I've never seen this type of cedar here. So that's why. Yeah. So that's why they have it dry and they grind it so it has a different color. Wallah. Jazakumullah khairan. This is.
No, one question I had: are we allowed to do like organ donations or anything?
Organ donation, is it allowed or not? Yes, it's a type of sadaqah. But the scholar said we should not write this in our driver's license because we cannot just make it open for everyone. But you can write it in your wasiyah. That after you die, anybody, Muslim or non-Muslim, needs to use any part of my body that is fresh and that can save their life, it can be. But we shouldn't just put this in the driver's license. But we are allowed to donate if we are saving, and the scholar says it's a type of sadaqah.
We should or we should not
We should. No, we shouldn't. But you can put it in your wasiyah that I'm okay to save the life of people through donating, and you allow, or your blood relatives can decide. But we shouldn't put it in the driver because you are publicizing it. You are like making it something that because we don't own it. Because some people they are like the scholar says you shouldn't say that I own it and I have the decision about it and I have a control over it. But it's a type of sadaqah. So the scholar said do not just put it on the driver's license, but still you can write on your wasiyah that I'm allowing my relatives to allow the people who are in need for any part of my body that saved their life to do it.
So the difference between the need to be on the driver license, when there is a roadside accident, if you have it on your license, that's what they take care of it. They are part of the body that they are in a matter of minutes, and there's no time for going back and checking the gear. So if your driver license says it, they'll take you.
But wallahi, the scholars, they have some concern about this, about writing it in the driver's license. They are saying that you are like publicizing it, like you are making it like a good, like you are treating with it as something you own and you do not own it. But if this is the only way, if this is the only way, if this is the only way and there is no other way, then that's fine. But if you can make the wasiyah and just do it like in a way that also you can make it usable for people instead of the driver's license. I know, but some of the scholars they did this and they have a strong argument. Wallahu a'lam. If it's the only way, I say it can be, but I prefer no, based on, and I will research for it and see why the scholar said this, because there is a strong argument. Maybe I don't know. I do not have ready now in my mind. Inshallah.
So a follow-up to that is you mentioned if it saves someone's life.
Yes.
How about because sometimes people do it for educational purposes as well.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. If this is the only way, because we should respect the deceased and the dead body as we respect the living body. But if it's used for the study, for something that people get benefit of it, that's fine. Wallahu a'lam. Jazakum Allah. We end with this, inshallah. The next time, inshallah, we'll go further for the barrier and the shrouding, inshallah, bismillah. So we'll end our session, inshallah. Jazakum Allah.
Let's go. Let's go.